Hey everyone! Today we're going to talk about one of the most famous battles in history, the Battle of Thermopylae. Thermopylae is a narrow mountain pass near the sea in northern Greece, and it was the site of an incredible showdown in August 480 BCE. This battle was between the huge Persian army and a much smaller group of Greek warriors. Even though the Greeks were greatly outnumbered, they fought with unbelievable bravery. The leader of the Greek forces was King Leonidas of Sparta. His plan was simple but smart. Use the narrow pass to make it harder for the Persian army to take advantage of their massive numbers. For 3 days, the Greeks held their ground and fought fiercely. In the end, Leonidas and his men made a heroic final stand. They didn't win the battle, but their courage and sacrifice inspired the Greeks to keep fighting. Within a year, the Greeks turned things around and defeated the Persians at the battles of Salamis and Plataea. To understand why this battle happened, let's take a quick look at the Persian Wars. By the early 5th century BCE, the Persian Empire, led by King Darius I, was expanding into Europe. They had already taken over places like Thrace and Macedonia. Next on their list was Greece. It's not totally clear why Darius wanted Greece. Maybe it was for power, maybe to stop the Greeks from rebelling against Persia. Whatever the reason, in 491 BCE, Darius sent messengers to the Greek city-states demanding they surrender. The Greeks refused and even killed the messengers. Athens and Sparta then formed an alliance to fight back. Darius responded by sending a massive army to Greece in 490 BCE. The Greeks met them at Marathon and won a huge victory. But that was just the beginning. Persia had a huge empire with lots of resources, and they weren't going to give up easily. When Darius died in 486 BCE, his son Xerxes became king. Xerxes decided to launch an even bigger invasion. He spent years preparing, building bridges, digging canals, and storing supplies to move his enormous army. Greece was in serious danger, and even the Oracle of Delphi warned the Athenians to flee. When the Greeks heard about the invasion, they first sent 10,000 soldiers to block the Persian army at the Valley of Tempe. But when they saw how huge Xerxes' army was, they retreated. After a lot of arguing and mistrust between the Greek city-states, they finally sent a smaller force of 6,000 to 7,000 men to defend Thermopylae. This group included 300 Spartans led by Leonidas, along with warriors from other places like Arcadia, Thespiae, and Corinth. You might wonder why only 300 Spartans went to fight. Well, there were a couple of reasons. Some city-states didn't want to send their soldiers so far north. Also, it was a time of religious festivals, and many Greeks believed it was wrong to fight during these events. Even so, the Spartans sent their best warriors, the toughest fighters in all of Greece. They were joined by a fleet of over 300 Greek warships stationed off the coast at Artemision to stop the Persian navy. Thermopylae was the perfect spot for the Greeks to make their stand. On one side were steep mountains, and on the other side was the sea, leaving only a narrow path for the Persians to use. The Greeks also repaired an old wall that had been built there to make it even harder for the Persians to get through. Xerxes, leading his army of around 80,000 soldiers, thought the Greeks would run away. He waited 4 days, but they didn't budge. Finally, he offered them a chance to surrender, but Leonidas boldly replied, "Come and get them." And so, the battle began. On one side there were the Persians, masters of long-range attacks and lightning-fast cavalry charges. Their archers could unleash a storm of arrows, and their cavalry would rush in to finish off weakened enemies. On the other side, you had the Greeks and their heavily armored hoplites. These warriors fought in a tight, disciplined formation called a phalanx, where their bronze shields and long spears made them nearly unstoppable in close combat. It was a battle of strength and precision versus speed and overwhelming numbers. The Persian soldiers were lightly equipped with small wicker shields, short spears, and bows. But their elite group, the Immortals, had better armor and longer spears. Persian cavalry were also a key part of their strategy, using bows and javelins to attack from the sides. Despite their numbers and mobility, The narrow pass at Thermopylae worked against them. It made it nearly impossible to use their full force. And their lightweight arrows? They couldn't pierce the thick bronze armor of the Greek hoplites. The Spartans, as bold as ever, even joked about it. When a Persian soldier warned that their arrows would blot out the sun, a Spartan replied, "Perfect! Then we'll fight in the shade." On the first day of battle, Xerxes, the Persian king, sent his troops to break through the pass, but they couldn't budge the Greeks. Even the elite immortals failed to make a dent. The Greeks held strong, using clever tactics like pretending to retreat, only to suddenly regroup and counterattack in their powerful phalanx formation. Their discipline and unity made them a nightmare for the Persians, even though they were vastly outnumbered. The second day was just as tough for the Persians. Once again, they couldn't break through the Greek defenses. But everything changed because of a traitor named Ephialtes. He was a local shepherd who went to Xerxes with a secret. He told him about a hidden mountain path called the Thermopylae. This path would allow the Persians to sneak around the main Greek forces and attack them from behind. A small group of Greek soldiers, the Phocians, had been assigned to guard this path, but when they saw the Persians approaching, they thought they were the main target and retreated to higher ground. This left the path wide open for the Persian army. When Leonidas, the Spartan king, learned about this, he realized the battle was lost. He made a tough decision. He told most of the Greek forces to retreat so they could fight another day, but he stayed behind with his 300 Spartans, 700 Thespians, and 400 Thebans. Their mission was simple but heroic. Hold off the Persians as long as they could to buy time for the rest of Greece to prepare for the next battle. On the third and final day, Leonidas and his small force faced the Persian army once more. This time, the Persians attacked from both the front and the rear. The Greeks fought with everything they had, moving to a wider part of the pass to use all their remaining soldiers. In the chaos, Leonidas was killed, but his men refused to give up. They even fought fiercely to recover his body. Eventually, the surviving Greeks retreated to a small hill behind a defensive wall. There, they made their last stand. Surrounded and outnumbered, they were bombarded by Persian arrows until every last man had fallen. After the battle, Xerxes ordered Leonidas's head to be put on a stake as a warning. The oracle of Delphi's prophecy had come true. Either Sparta or one of its kings would fall. The Spartan sacrifice became a symbol of courage and dedication, inspiring Greeks for generations to come. Meanwhile, at Artemision, the Greek navy was facing its own challenges. The Persian fleet suffered heavy losses, losing hundreds of ships to storms off the coast of Magnesia and Euboea. When the two fleets finally met, the Greeks fought strategically, engaging in short bursts to limit the Persians' advantage in numbers. But when news of Leonidas' defeat reached the Greek fleet, they decided to withdraw to Salamis and prepare for the battles ahead. The Battle of Thermopylae became legendary, not because the Greeks won, but because of the incredible bravery of the Spartans and their allies. They showed the world what it meant to stand firm in the face of impossible odds. On the memorial for the fallen, the poet Simonides wrote, "Go tell the Spartans, you who read, we took their orders and here lie dead." It was a heroic loss, but it bought the Greeks precious time to regroup. Even though Thermopylae was lost, the Greeks didn't give up. Xerxes pushed deeper into Greece, capturing Athens, but the Greek forces were already planning their next moves. They built new defenses near Corinth and prepared for the naval battle of Salamis. There, the Greek fleet used clever tactics to lure the Persians into shallow waters, where their ships couldn't maneuver. The result? A crushing Greek victory that turned the tide of the war. The following year, the Greeks assembled the largest hoplite army they'd ever seen, and met the Persians at Plataea. This decisive battle finally ended Xerxes' plans to conquer Greece. The courage and sacrifice at Thermopylae had not been in vain. It was a pivotal moment in history, a reminder that even in the darkest times, unity and determination can change the course of events. The story of Thermopylae continues to inspire people to this day, a testament to the enduring power of bravery and resilience.